Comes down for us. If shots aren't falling, we got to do a better job on defense and of attacking the rim. And I felt like we didn't attack the rim with authority and attack the rim to go through fouls, even though things weren't falling our way, like shooting percentage wise. We need to be able to attack the rim, and so that's a huge thing that we're going to stress this week.
Lauren, you and a couple of the other girls have been, on prior teams. You guys are kind of used to winning a lot. How are you and maybe a couple of the other veterans kind of handling the tough start to the season right now?
Yeah, losing is definitely tough, for anyone. No one really likes to lose. So, that's rough, but we're trying to learn from each loss, Each loss kind of taught us something different, and hopefully, it's going to prepare us for our conference season and, the NCAA. But, it sucks and it's hard, but we just kind of got to learn from each loss and try to use it to make us better.
Coach, go ahead.
Coach, thoughts on the shoving incident with Kaylee?
I don't know. I have to go see the replay. I don't even know. I want my girls to rally around her, and I feel like they did at that point in time. So,
Coach, they shot 42% from three. I think coming in, they were shooting only 24. Is that something where you kind of say, okay, so they just made the shots? Like, what else are we gonna do?
this is like the second time it's happened. Troy, same thing, right? Like they shot 14% on the year, and they shot 44% against us. So we just have to make adjustments. Like we have a game plan going into what we're going to go. But if things happen or things change within the game, we need to be able to make the adjustments if we're going over screens or under screens, or being able to tighten up if we're in zone, tighten up to shooters better. So that just is in-game adjustments that we need to make sure we're getting a hold of.
Lauren, it was obviously a really chippy game. As kind of the leader, the veteran of this team, talk about what you saw from the younger players kind of dealing in a hostile situation like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, didn't come out as ready as we wanted to. I think that came from everyone though. So our veterans are, the younger girls are, they're doing the best they can in this situation, especially having to play such a big role. But we just got to come together a little more and kind of uplift them, us veterans.
Coach, during the game, a lot of the coaches were kind of saying urgency, and Lauren kind of mentioned that maybe at the start of the game, you guys didn't really come out the way you wanted to, at least initially. How do you sort of fight against that going forward?
Starts in shoot around, starts this morning. Make sure they're getting up and getting going and play and when we have shoot arounds, be way more focused. And then the third quarter is always glaring at us. And I think we've only had 1 or 2 games that we've outscored our opponent in the third quarter. So that needs to be a thing where we really focus and push that from now forward.
Coach, it's kind of the first month of your first regular season here comes to a close. What are kind of your key takeaways for being in this position for as long as you have, just the experience so far?
I'm loving it, obviously, but obviously we want to win more. But like Lauren said, we've had a really hard non-conference, and it's preparing us for conference. And as long as we're learning and getting better every day, which I'm seeing things happen out there that we've been working on in practice, which is a good thing. Just being able to close out games now is going to start to be huge, and that comes with experience. These are the young girls in the experience department, so as they get more and more experience, then those games are going to be able to be closed by them.
So outside of wins and losses, are you kind of satisfied with where? I don't want to say satisfied, but what do you feel about where the team is at right now? Kind of those factors that you said.
Big picture, right? Wins and losses I've told them they can't let their highs get too high or lows get too low, right? So just because we have one win, we can't celebrate and take off the next game, which is kind of we've been doing this, right? And we need to start climbing and start stringing good games together along. And so, yeah, it's big picture for me. It's not just defined by each individual game.
Lauren, it seemed like today you got a lot of really easy shots, maybe first half, and they adjusted. They started setting a second defender. I feel like that's probably has happened a little bit throughout the season and will continue to happen. What are you sort of doing to kind of figure out that game plan from opposing teams and maybe try to get the better of them as time goes on?
I think our coaching staff has done a good job at making adjustments. In practice, we put different sets in, to have that option if they do start playing that backside. So we just kind of got to execute on different reads and whatnot. get more of like a high-low game like we've been trying to do. So yeah, I mean, it's rough when they start doing that, but we have different plays and sets put into place from the coaches, so.
Coach, in the past 5 games, you've had the same 5 starters, including today. What is it about that group that you kind of feel like you found something?
I feel like everybody's kind of playing their role. And so when I have girls come off the bench right now, they're providing a spark. And we've really been pushing that because we need bench points off the bench. And so as of right now, I like what I'm seeing, so we'll stay with it for a little bit.
Lauren, what would you say is like the main takeaway for you from this game?
I think, I mean, on the defense and the offensive side, I think there was just not a whole lot of urgency. I mean, our defense, we were slow to things, didn't have a whole lot of aggressiveness. Then on offense, we're just kind of, we're jogging around, not really having urgency on that end either. So I would just say urgency and aggressiveness on both ends of the court, so.
Coach, what's your assessment so far of your shot selection and your shot creation?
Assessment. We, at the very first of the year, the chemistry wasn't there. Now we're really trying to get the extra pass and get the extra one-look shot, and so I feel like it's getting better as we go. They're playing with better chemistry. They're not, like, going backwards in that nature, and so, but yeah, we're playing really hard teams. I mean, aggressive teams, so it's good for us to have that.
Yeah.
Handled the press today.
Yeah, we did.